Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's live stream. I'm Ryan Laley and you're joined us tonight for question time. If you don't know what question time is, it is a live show where you can ask me any question you want about games development, Unreal Engine 4, or even what kind of food I like, whatever you really want. Open book for you to answer any question you have in your mind. We are here live on chat, so hello everyone in chat. I see Travis Tuttle came in really early. Hours ago, in fact. Racing is fun. Hello. Wizard at Play, Dakota. Nordic Wilderness coming from Japan. Greetings. We also got people in the Discord as well. So if you don't know this, if you're a Patreon member, you can actually ask your question for question time ahead of the actual live stream. So just go to the question time queue jump, put it in there, and I'll answer it live on the show. So if you can't make the show, you can catch it up later in the archive. So let's get started with a couple of questions from Discord. If you don't know how tonight works, all you have to do is put your question into chat, and I'll try and grab as many as I can within the hour that we are doing this. And if I don't catch your question straight away, don't worry, just put it in chat again, and I'll hopefully catch it down the line. Okay? So, let's go to Discord and see what kind of questions we've got over there. Got a couple of questions because I missed last week because I was knackered because my little girl kept me up all night. But so got a couple of questions. I may have missed a couple, I don't know, but try and catch them. So question from Kenya Art Taylor. I'm making a single player game with a multiplayer mode. I would like to use the time dilation effect, but only on signed player, on a signed player. My question is, if the game were to be the server based, will I still need to replicate the effect so that the client playing by themselves sees it? Yes, so the time dilation thing, it needs to be something that it is replicated across, because you can't make the game run slower for one person and not the others. It won't, just doesn't work. I don't know how well time dilation actually replicates. It's something I have to experiment with. I haven't done it before, so I'll have to mess about with that and come back to you with that one. But yeah, there's a game, I can't remember what it's called now, a game that had sort of the same sort of problem, and they solved it by making these time grenades you can throw, and in a certain bubble you move slower. But it was localized to that, so it wasn't changing the whole game's dilation, it was just changing that. From TH Gaming, what is the best method to save level states, i.e. enemies killed, items collected? Also, can you talk about the save option on blueprints? Oh. To flag the variable as being serialized. Okay, so the best way to method to save level states, such as enemies being killed, items collected, and so forth, is that in your level you should have, if your enemies are placed already in a level when you build it, you should have them all available here. What you do is when you kill them, you're adding their reference to, you're taking the reference out of an array. So at the start of the level, you get an array of all the actors of that class and storing it in your save file. And when you kill one, you just remove it from that array. So what happens is at the start of the game next time, you just go through that array again. If the actor's not in that array, then they get destroyed. That means you've killed them. A lot of games don't mess about with that too much, though. A lot of them will just respawn enemies for the fun of it. But it can be kind of taxing. Oh, but on to your next question, the serialized blueprint thing. So for those who are wondering what he's talking about, is on your blueprint over here, you go to like any variable. In the advanced details, you have this save game tick box, and you can check whether or not it is serialized. So first thing is what is serialized, and then what is this button used for. So serialization is the act of changing all the information that you see here into bytes of data, so you can a computer can understand it, and it serializes it in a certain way, and you can deserialize it to read it again. It's almost like encrypting it, basically. It's a way of storing all that information just in one ID byte. Now, very tired. Sorry. So when you tick this box, actually, before we get to that, so the save game object class that you typically would use is pre-built to serialize all of its content and deserialize it when it's loading it in. So you don't have to do anything about it there. It does it all for you. That's the bonus of using that class. However, if you want to do it more manually, you can indicate on here which ones you want to be serialized. So if I tick this on here, I'd have to then manually create my own save game object, which would have to be a C++ thing. And I'd go through and collect that information and serialize it. And that's what you're doing basically there, is you're collecting data in your custom save game class. So when you save the actor, it will save that particular variable. But at the moment, we are using well, most of the time, you would use a save game object, and you just pass the variables to and fro that object there. Unbelievable's asking, maybe this has been done, but a quick, fast way to set up clicking button, and wherever crosshairs point on a map, an actor will appear over that spot in the sky or center of screen instead of crosshairs. Sure, we can do that. So let's do it with these bullets here. So at the moment, my bullets are firing out, okay, from the gun. If I want them to spawn at a location, or spawn like a chair or something, we can do that. So I'm going to do on fire. I'm going to bring this out here, and we're going to get you want to get the crosshair location. And the crosshair location is basically the viewport, which may have to come from the no, there it is. Get viewport size, split that, and we want to take actually no, we could just get from project screen to world. Yeah, no, that's what we're doing. So use project screen to world, and you get the middle of the screen, I guess you want to use. So get viewport size, and we're going to divide that by 2. That's middle. Player is the player controller. And this will now get you the position of the center of the screen where it is in the world space. If you want to find where it's pointing at, you need to do a line trace. So you do a line trace by channel from the start position here. The end point is the world direction multiplied by how far you want it to look, which could be quite far. We could do like 4,000. We're going to add that to the original world position. So this should shoot a line out from where the camera is pointing in the world to the center of the from the center of the screen into the world. Oh, okay. Now we've got this line trace coming out. We can now spawn things at the end of it. So I'm going to take the out hit here, break this, and we're going to do spawn actor of from class, and we'll do a static mesh actor, and we'll set the mesh to be oh god, hang on, set static mesh. There you go. We'll set it to like a chair or something. There you go. Okay, so it's going to spawn a chair, but the transform is where you're going to spawn it. So what I'm going to do here is take the spawn transform and split this. Get the location, and the location will either be the location of the hit or the location of the trace end, depending on which one's further or closer to the player. So what I can do here is when I do blocking hit, I can do select vector. If that's true, I want to use location. Oh, if it's false, I want to use trace end, and then that'll go into our spawn transform location. So there, and that'll place objects where you're looking at in the screen. Oh. Oh, wait. It'd be a lot easier if I actually made another object rather than do that. Hang on. It's a lot of hassle. I'll just do a sphere. Okay. So this is a new blueprint. We'll just call it new. Right, do it properly. Okay, so wherever I look, it's going to spawn it when I click. Okay, if I do it in mid-air, you can see it's going to spawn it in the air. That's the end of the line trace. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now if you want it to spawn in the air above the point where I drop it, so let's say we make it as a physics object. So I'll take that sphere and make that the root, simulate physics, and then I want to spawn it in the air. What I would do is take this spawn actor transform here and add 1,000 to it. Okay, and that'll put in the air. You have it. Okay. And that's how you do that. If I've got a moment today, this is from Gas Station Forever. If you've got a moment today to go over the difference between an event versus the parent version, like begin play versus the brown node parent begin play. If I don't keep that parent begin play, does the parent begin play logic not get executed? That's correct, actually. So let's go in here, for example, and let's say on this new blueprint on begin play, we do print string. We say hello. Okay. Now if I make a child of this, in its graph, it will have the begin play and then parent begin play. That's going to call the same code that's in the parent. So that'll call hello. So if I put this in here and go hello and change that to there. Hit play now and put that in the world, the child one. Yeah, it's saying hello there. Okay. Now if I took that out, it would only do there. And if I were to put it afterwards, it'll do their hello. Their hello. So the whole purpose of this is whether or not you want to override or extend it. So if you're overriding it, this is what you do. You take it out, and that's what we call an overridden event. If you're extending it, then you put that in there like that, and that's an extension of that event. But you can call this wherever you want in the graph. You can make it a condition if you want, up to you. If you by any chance lose this, so I deleted it by accident, you can right click on any event and add call to parent function. It'll come out, and that's how it works. Okay, we're gonna go over to chat now. I've lost. Hello, see a few more people have turned up. Hello. Andrew Coatsy, I've downloaded a house blueprint from the market. My question is there a way to snap the walls together? Not really. I mean, the only thing you can do is if you turn on up here surface snapping, and I made another wall. Okay. Yeah, like a wall here. I'll turn up also snap on the grid here to 100. I can drag this out and it'll snap to the wall like that. Okay, so you can do stuff like that. It will surface snap to that. And if you've got like multiple together, it makes it a bit trickier, but you can get roughly estimates like that and it'll work. That's the closest you're gonna get with it without some custom plugin stuff. Ooh. Hi, from iRamo. Hi Ryan Laley, I've been having a problem for a while now. How do I make a working fighting blend space similar to Assassin's Creed? That's a long question to that's a long answer to a short question. Oh dear. So you're talking about the animation if you're talking about blend spaces. I don't know what the correct answer would be. It would be it's a lot. You have to just I mean, how would I describe it? It's just a lot. It's just a lot of the animation blueprint. Essentially what you're doing is just looking at the state of the character and what they're doing and blending between each state, and that's all it is. It's just expansive, that's all, because I've got a lot of animations in there. But I believe what they're using is oh, what's it called? System. I can't remember the name of it. There's a name for a system of animation, and I can't recall the damn name of it. It uses motion capture. If I think of the name of it, I'll mention it. But right now, it's getting my head. I'll have to have a look. I've been bitten on my hand. It's so sore. Poor. ETM Petafreya. Question: how can I use a mouse cursor drag to rotate an object in world in a top-down template? So when you're dragging a mouse cursor, you're just getting a value from it. So we won't go through the whole entire process because it's quite lengthy. I've got videos on it, similar to it. But if you get the mouse X here, for example, this is just getting a value here. Basically, how fast I move the X, this number's going to increase. It's basically the delta of the X input. And if I had that in mind, then I can change the roll or pitch or yaw of an object using this. So let's say, for example, let's get actor of class blueprint child will we get this thing. Turn value out. Variable. So then on like a tick event, I guess, because that's when I want to update it. You take this out and you do add rotation, and you'll see add actor world rotation or add local rotation. We'll do world rotation, and you can split this and put X in here. That'll be roll probably. If you did top down, it'd be roll. Mouse Y B pitch. So yeah, that's what that does. Let me just change that from not being a sphere, because that'd be quite hard to see. Do chair and put that into the. Oh, I've already got one there in the game. This might be a bit tricky because got physics on it. So as I turn my cursor, you'll see the chair rotates as well. See, like that's mimicking movement of my mouse. The same sort of concept. You just have to disconnect it from the gun, obviously. Notice it won't move if I move just with the keyboard. It only moves with the mouse. Okay, so it's just taking the mouse delta in. Yeah, that's. Okay. In Vlad's question, hi Ryan, in God of War there's a lot of interactive scenes parts. Is that done in sequencer or an animation like normal disabled movement and a locked camera? Yeah, basically that. Yeah. So in God of War they're using obviously a custom built system, handle this better, but it basically takes away input from, it disables the input from the character, which you can do quite easily in Unreal as well. It's just get player controller, and you can disable no, not disable, sorry, ignore move input and ignore look input. They'll ignore those inputs, and then you can make the character do the animation via level sequence if you want. It's just a level sequence but without a separate camera, so it keeps the camera on the character. Yeah. I'm gonna skip a couple for you, unfortunately, because I'm losing it now. Great content. I have a question. No matter what I do, I can't get rid of light bleeds through walls. Any ideas why that might happen? What's the best way to model walls in Blender? I mean, chances are you're doing it fine. It's just a matter of changing the light system, and also bear in mind you do have to check it out in standalone. Built lighting actually finished, done. Preview lighting is always a bit try and snap that. Build lighting really to do this. Yeah, it's doing things like that and just changing how light mass works. Change some of the light mass settings, like indirect light bounce lighting as well. Helps smooth things out. Or you can always cover seams up with some simple seam models. The way some games do it. Big Boy Johnson, I spawn a ball in there and I want it to not move until the player touches it. The activated physics doesn't work too well. Delay and lag. Don't deactivate physics, just activate the physics when they touch it. So it's turned off by default. Just make it so when they get hit, they do physics. So for example, put this in here. And this thing is set to not simulate physics. Then I'll do a hit. And say here, simulate physics. True. Into it and it turns it on. So yeah, do it that way around. X Demon, can you recommend some Paper 2D tutorials? Unfortunately not. I'm not familiar with many Paper 2D people. I keep meaning to make one, just haven't had the time to. But there will definitely be one by me at some point. Don't know when, but yes, definitely will be one by me. But I can't recommend any, unfortunately. Not up on it. How do you set up the X and Y? So it's from CBI. How do you set up the X and Y axis on an animation blend space? Let me bring in an animation in here so you can actually see this working. I'm in the first person template, which is not good for this sort of thing. So I just added this pack to the game. Then space to this. So we'll do 2D because you mentioned X and Y. Okay, so a blend space. It can be anything you really want, really, but it's commonly used for like transitions and running transitions. So everyone has their own preference. I personally will do turning on the horizontal axis and then speed on the vertical axis. I think that like driving a car, like you steer the wheel left and right, so horizontally left and right, and then you push down a throttle, go up faster. So that's the way my brain works. So the horizontal axis I would make direction, and the vertical axis will be speed. Now the speed is simple enough. It's 0, and then whatever the maximum speed is of the character, which you find in the character movement component. This is 600 by default. So we set that 600. And then on the direction, there's a calculate direction node, and it will give you a direction value as an angle. That angle will be between -180 and 180. So in direction here, we'll do -180 and 180. So 0 is in the middle here, so that's you running straight forward, and then left is going left, then backwards, and then right is going right, then backwards. So then you just put them in. So walk in goes there, backwards goes there, and goes there. Left will go to left, right will go to right, and they can blend between directions. Okay. And then you do your jogging one, jog backwards, forwards, jog left, right, and then you can blend between those. Okay, and you just feed in those values. So the speed is just getting the velocity of the character, which they probably do already in here. Yeah, they already have got it on here. The one that comes with the pack. Mess. God. So speed is just getting the velocity and getting the vector length of it. That's the speed. Velocity is like, I think of it, velocity is a string. The string, which way it's pointing is the direction, and how long the string is how fast you're going. So if you get the length of it, you get how fast, and if you get the direction of it, we'll calculate direction, you'll get which way you're going. And you need to plug in active rotation as well, and that gives you that value. And it's as simple as that. Yeah, no feed into that. But so you can use it for all sorts of things. I've used blend spaces for all sorts of little tricks before. It doesn't have to be movement. Right, next. Deadfire Studios. How can I make a Niagara bullet trail move from the muzzle to the end point of a line trace? Okay. Like, do you want to actually see it? Sorry, Deadfire. Do you want to see it move, or do you want just to like to spawn a line, the Niagara effect from one point to another? Let me know. But I'll get started on that. Hang on. Oh, wait. We'll just go into effects, Niagara, empty. Yep. Make it move. Okay. Come on. So easiest way of doing this probably would be to make it a ribbon. Possibly. So you go to. I don't think beam is a part of this. I know it is a beam. Set up beams before Niagara. The other one. Well, I'll show you a ribbon because I know how to do it. So on the render here, we're going to go to ribbon renderer. And what a ribbon renderer does, it takes the particles that you spawn and draws a line between them. So what I'm going to do is, if you want it, I mean, it depends on what kind of style you want. There's all sorts of things. So for example, on emitter update, we can go on here and do burst. And we can make it burst just one. Or you can make it burst 2 out. And then on the particle spawn, add velocity. Fix soul forces and velocity. And we'll give it in the X here, the speed. Now for bullets, you want it to be very, very fast. So 4,000. Okay. However, that is spawning just one of them at 4,000. It won't spawn. Sorry, it will spawn both of them at 4,000, not just one of them. Because again, it's a point. It's a line between 2 points, so you need that 2 points basically. So if I go to top here and do not random. Oh no. We could just do it like this. Yeah. No, we'll just make it move. Turn ribbon off. Don't want that. So you got this sprite going that way. Okay. Let me turn this thing down. Keeps it a lot quicker. Okay, so you see the bullet going off. You could then go to particle update. Do location, and you want to do generate location event. You'll see this error message. That's because you need to make the emitter generate persistent IDs. That one. I'll get rid of that error. And then we make another emitter. Oh. Emitter. Empty. This one will be the ribbon. So we go ribbon. Get rid of the sprite renderer. Need to initialize the ribbon. Ooh. Without a spell. We'll give that the same material, so I'm going to click on that. But I want to feed the location event data from this to this. So I'm going to go to add event handler. And on this event handler, I'm going to change this to use the location event that is found. Change the execution mode to spawn particles. Max events spawn per frame. 50, why not? Spawn number. This is how many you're going to spawn in. So let's say we spawn 2, for example. It will spawn 2 points in that thing there, okay? Then we go to on here. Type in location. Receive location event. So now it's going to receive it. And we apply the particle to the location data. And you don't just saw it there. Let me make it a bit thicker. Change this to like 20. You get that line appear. Like that. And if you want to hide the original line, the original bullet shape, you just untick the sprite renderer on that, and then you just get that one on its own showing. Okay, so it's drawing a ribbon based on this thing here. So if I were to shoot that at my gun, go to my character, go to I'll go through it again, don't worry. Go to a fire event, and we're going to do spawn, not emitter, system at location, and I want to get the sphere position here, and I want to get the transform of this. Get world transform. Get that. Location and rotation. And I'm going to choose our new Niagara system. Okay. Okay. Obviously, we haven't told it to. It's looping indefinitely. We don't want to do. And the rotation's a little bit off, I think, because it's on the gun. Let's make it not rotate. Let's make it take the actor, get camera manager, get the forward vector of that. Or get the actual rotation of it actually. Let's make it also not loop. So I'm going to go to Niagara system once. Okay, it draws that line. Obviously, that needs to be a lot faster. So I'm going to go to velocity here, change it to 8,000. So you want it really fast. The ribbon we'll leave behind as well. We'll make that initialized lifetime here to be a little bit shorter. So we'll do like 0.5, for example. You get a lot shorter line. Okay. Maybe even faster than that. They need it really fast for a gun. Change that to 16,000. Okay, that's essentially it. Okay, and if you want the line to be longer, just make the ribbon last longer as well. So I'll go through that again. So I did say I would go through it again. So on my Niagara system, I have two emitters. One's the bullet, and the other one's the trail. So on the bullet, I just gave it a velocity on the X here of 16,000. You can make it however fast you want it to make it. But you want it in the X because whichever way it's facing and spawns in, that'll be the X location. And that's all that's doing. It's just making it move. But you want it to have a generate location event, and that will trigger a location event all the time. Okay. So then on the ribbon over here, we're using a ribbon renderer, and we told it to initialize the ribbon over here, changing its width over here as well, and the color and so forth. And then we told it to have a event handler for a location event, which is the one it's detected here. Change it to spawned particles, so it only affects the ones that have been spawned. Max events per frame is how many it could possibly trigger at once. So if you've got loads of these things flying off on this one system, it would only do 50 of them. But the spawn number is how many ribbons it's gonna, how many parts of the ribbon it's gonna spawn. We only want 2, a start and an end. That would be fine for us there. But yeah, you need that. And once you finish putting those settings in, you just put in receive location event, and that'll plug in the data it's received into the ribbon. So as it moves, it'll move the ribbon as well. Yeah, there you go. CBI, if you've gotten upset when working in Unreal, like if you feel like you can't make anything good or right, is there anything that helps you get back into working mood? Yeah, walk away from it. Walk away from it. Do something constructive with your life that isn't going to put you in a stinker. So if I get really frustrated, I walk away. I spend time with my kids, go see my wife, go eat some food. Or play a game, relax somehow. Because usually when you come back to a problem with a fresher mind, it usually is solving it for you. Or also just accept that you don't know everything you need to know yet. As long as you set the promise that you want to learn it, then you come back to it later, sure. But if you accept that you don't know that enough information yet, then that's fine. You can put it aside, put it on the shelf, and say, I'm going to come back to you later when I've got that knowledge. Okay? And then you go on to something else that you do have knowledge of. Scale it down. If you feel like you're not understanding something, or it's too complex or something like that, scale it down. Okay? Maybe you're trying to do an online multiplayer game, but online is confusing. So you're like, okay, well, take out the online part, do a single player game. Maybe you're doing an ability system and it's having a hard time with it. Okay? Take it out. Make it very simple, like one button, do one thing. Simpler. Keep making it simplify. Keep making it simpler to get to the point where you make it complete, and then you'll find yourself learning as you go, and you can always go back to it or go back to the well and get that original idea and start working with it. I've done it plenty of times where I've even done it on the channel. You'll see. Oh, pardon me. Make a video on something years ago, and then I've made another video on it recently because I found better ways of doing it, or efficient ways of doing it, or I've learned a lot more about it, and I would pick it up and try to do it again and make another video on it. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, understand, games are hard to make. Full stop. No matter what kind of game it is, no matter how complex or simple you think it is, games are just hard to make. So surround yourself with people that are supportive and do things that support your own mental health with it better. X Draco, I see a series of save points. I had a question in my case. I'm using level streaming. How do I spawn the player in a sub level? It's the same way as anything else. You just spawn them in the world. If you're doing level streaming with the blueprint, you have to trigger what blueprint it is going to be loading in. If it's also triggered by a volume, then the volume will automatically trigger it when the player spawns in. Oh, sorry. But the spawning in part is exactly the same as anything else. It's just another location in the world. But if you want to spawn it in a particular sub-level, you have to manually tell it to do that. Which you can do via like the options thing, for example. It's a bit much to go through right now. But in the game mode, when the game starts, you have the options string. This is a string you get when you do open level. By name or object reference, you can see there's options here. And on that options, you can put in anything you want, okay? It'll come through out of this with as a query, not query. Yeah, it's a query. So you can use anything you want in here and type in whatever you want, and you can pass through it to get information. So if you want to spawn in a particular level, just or particular sub level, just get this string, search for a code in it, and use it to load the level with the blueprint. So load stream level by name. It'll choose this one based on the option string. Yeah. That'd be the way to do that. So my cash is gone right up into my neck. Ugh. The downside of having a beard. Hi Ryan. Sorry, I won't pronounce your name. I'll just butcher it. But hi Ryan, will you do some tutorials on developing mobile games? It's on the list to do. Yep, I will do. It's on the list. Doom Expert. When I crouch, my speed goes accelerated to the left, like a big character movement. Do you know what the issue is? Shouldn't do. The only thing I can think of is maybe you've got a collision object on something. Check that all the content inside of your capsule has no collision, because that could affect that and push you to the side, maybe. Onari, can you tell me? Thank you for the donation, Onari. Can you tell me how to use visibility trigger parameters? I'm guessing you mean Niagara system in render, and change the parameter from another blueprint. Do you mean Niagara system when you put NS? I assume that's what you... Let me know. Bartasus, hi Ryan, I'm wondering, is it possible to use skeletal mesh without any mesh, just a skeleton? Would be useful for master pose component. Yeah, you can. Yep, so you can. Hey Ryan, how would you randomize a set of anime montages? For example, having a set of idle animations, and you want your character to pick one each time idle is called. Cool. Okay, yeah, no problem. So if I go to, let's go to this one here. Okay, not a perfect example, but it'll do. And go to animation graph and go to the idle here. Okay, so here you've got plain idle rifle hip. Now over here on the right hand side, I can change this to be any animation. I change it from bind to expose as pin, and then I make a variable. Just put that to a variable, and we'll call this idle sequence. And we then make it pick a random one from an array. So we'll just delete that, make that an array, get, and do random array item. There you go. And whatever you put it through there, you just need to put in some information from that. So need at least a default value. So like idle pistol, for example. Okay. You'll get a warning for randomized stuff like this, which is fine mostly. Another thing you can also do is, if you want to make it a bit safer, you can do, I change this to idle sequence list, and then make another one to idle sequence, and then on the state machine, on idle here, you've got these animation states. When it entered state event, you've got idle start, or you can type in anything you want. They call it idle start. And if I go to my event graph, that'll be in here. idle start. So I can make that then pick one from this. Get random. Oh, no, not get random, just random. And then set that to the idle sequence. Like that. And so when it enters it, it'll call this, get the random one, and yeah, that's it. It'll pick that, play that random one. Okay, see, anything you can see, by the way, you can expose all of these as pins, so you can make them variable based on that. So let's say for idle sequence here, I change this, add another one to this, idle pistol, and we'll do idle rifle hip, and idle rifle iron sight. So it's 3 in there, okay? And if I put him in the world and just take control of that one. Ooh, 0. Get rid of that one. Okay, so I'm in idle at the moment, and if I just move around a bit, you can see how it's now picked a different idle. Go back this way. Every time I go back into that, it's going to give me a new idle. Yeah. And if you want to be a timer based, you can make it timer based if you want. You just make it on that entered, just set up a that's over here. You just set up a timer. Make it pick another one. But yeah. No ecosystem, yes. So visibility trigger parameters. I don't think I've ever used. I don't think I've ever used them. Okay, hold on. Green this thing. The renderer visibility tag. I don't think I've ever used it. But take a look at it. Figure it out together. Yeah, tag, okay. So, renderer visibility tag binding. Okay. So if you want to make that a custom binding, this is default to 0, so it's a number. It's a part. It's a like scalar float value. Then you need to set up a custom user one. So you probably have to go onto particle spawn over here. Set new or existing parameter directly. Do set parameters, add new one. And this will be a float. I think it'll be a float. Yeah. And this will be the visibility, new my visibility. Rename this. My viz. Okay, it defaults to 0. Okay. Apparently, because that's what it says down here. Says if it exists, otherwise use default 0. Okay, so we now got this my viz 0. We'll see what this does, and then we can say on when I shoot it out, I've done here. You can take the return value and you can set parameter, set float parameter, and just put in the name of it here. So my viz, and then plug in any node you want. As long as you've got a reference to the system, you can do that. Okay, so let's make this thing loop so I can test it out properly. Put that into the scene somewhere. Oh wait, no, can't do that. It has to be from the player. Crap. Okay. Well, that one, delete one. Okay, so shoot that. Okay, so that'll loop now that. Okay. This is set to 0. I don't know what effect this has on it. 1. I don't know what though. I don't know. Let's take a look where it's being used. So render visibility tag binding. Okay, so this is what it's using. If a render visibility tag is present, particles whose tag matches this value will be visible in this renderer. Particles, if a render visibility tag is present. Okay, so we set it to 1. So if the render visibility tag is present, which is particles. Oh wait, I didn't take it to use my one. Sorry. Tell it to use our one. Oh wait, hang on. Why can't we use our own one? Oh, what is this thing? Oh, hold on. Is it not a float then? No, what is it then? Oh, it's an integer. I don't know if I can change it. Make a new one. I didn't want to do that. Int. Int 2. 1. My viz 2. Make that equal 0. There we go. It is. So I'll be setting that now. I still don't understand it too well. Particles whose tag matches value will be visible in the renderer. This renderer. So when I shoot it, setting value. This is how you set values in the ecosystem. That's set to 1 now. I don't think you'll notice it unless you mess about with it, maybe. But you got it. You know how you got the question. That's how you're doing that. Ryan, what are your favourite video games? Oh god, what, this year or in general? This year I've been playing the most and enjoying the most out of Final Fantasy 14 and Psychonauts 2. I enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed Metroid Dread a lot. I just finished that the other day. 100%ed that game. That's lots of fun. Really enjoyed that one. Harder than it should be, but yeah, it's good. But Psychonauts 2 was one of those games where I was sad that it finished, and I've 100%ed everything, and I've got all the achievements, and I was like, I'm sad that I've got nothing left to do in this game, so I just want to keep playing it. And Final Fantasy 14, I've just been having a whale of a time with. I've been really enjoyed that game. It's a good turn off your brain and just enjoy it sort of game. Hi Andrew, thank you for the donation. How will I go about changing the third person player start mannequin and camera so that is first person? Player start being controller. Player starts being the controller icon. Huh? How do I go about changing the third person player start mannequin and camera so that is first person? The player start being the controller icon. I don't know what you mean by the controller icon. But if you want to start in the first person viewport, let's go back to my one I bought in from here. Hold on. Who came in again? Okay, so if he starts in third person, okay. If you want to start in first person for him, you can either change the camera boom to be 0, bring it right in. But I wouldn't. I would, because the spring arm is going to be wrong. I'll just add another camera to it. And not have it attached to the spring arm, and just bring it into the head. Oh, it's a... They bring that in wherever you want. And I'd make this thing not owner, not C. Start off with. So, owner, no C. And then... Oh, what's this? Oh, yeah, it doesn't exist. And then at the start of the game, this one is one that's active. So, go to the camera down here. Make sure activate is turned on. Auto activate. Then this one is turned off. And then when you push a button or vent trigger of some kind, one key for example, we want to switch this camera here. So we'll go camera and set to no, not field. What am I doing? Not that one. It's you have to activate this one. That's it. You have to activate that one, but I don't think it will do it automatically. Push 1 to activate it, but I can't still move. Okay, so activate will turn it on, but you don't have to. It won't transfer over to it yet. You have to no, you dragged in making the player start will be a separate actor. Oh yeah, but okay, I'll show you then, Andrew. Okay, so if this starts in first person, then in the after we activate it, we then need to deactivate the old one. So you take this one here and deactivate. Okay, so now I'm in third person. Obviously, I have to turn on the owner no C again. So. Owner C. Set owner no C for the mesh. Be false. Right. 1. Now I am. Okay. Now that's with me starting with the mannequin. If you want to start with player start, like here. Okay, this is a player start. You have to tell the game mode to choose your character as the default pawn. So go to your game mode. Or you can override it. I'll show you both. So you can go into the game mode by finding it. Go to class defaults, and over here you can change the default pawn class to that one I've just used there. But even though I don't have a character in my scene here, if I push play, I'll spawn in as my character, hit 1, and I'll spawn in third person. So that's if you change it directly here. If that's going to be changing per level, you can override it per world. You go to world settings, go to game mode override, and you'll see in here you can change the default pawn class over one you want to use. So if I change this one here back to the first person character, one with the gun, I'll spawn in with the one with the gun. But I'll change back to that. Okay, so it'll choose whatever one you got set in the game mode. The player start will. Okay, hopefully that helps you answer your question, Andrew. Let me know. Hi Ryan, I've watched your video about camera clamp, but it doesn't work. Do you have any idea why it does so? Unfortunately not. I don't know, man. I don't know what would be the cause of that. I need to see more of it, I think. Yeah, it's worth, I don't know. It's worth checking out. Show me some screenshots if you can of what's going on and what you did. It should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Unfortunately, I can't help you with that one. Sorry. M-Zone 3D. Hey Ryan, hope you're well. Any idea how to make a bubble pop particle effect similar to bubbling hot mud or lava? So spawn a bubble, expand it in place, and have it pop. we don't have time to do that one, so I'll do that one as a video for Niagara videos. I've been looking to do more Niagara videos soon. So I will be I'll cover something like that. It won't don't have much time. Well, have no time. We're finished now, but that'll be one we do later. So last couple of quick questions. Nordic Wilderness, will you say your advanced dialogue series is still good to follow, or is there a new way we do it? I would say it's still pretty good to follow. There is another dialogue series coming out soon, which is going to have like voice acting in it and be more cinematic, sort of like Mass Effect or Fallout style, where you got options you can choose from and change what you can do with it. So it's more stuff like that. So that'll be coming out. I meant to record it last month, but I haven't had any time, so it's on the to-do list. But I'll be using like MetaHuman and doing things like that. Vlad, hi Ryan, how do you get a first-person camera to follow Bullet, then return to normal when Bullet disappears? It'll have to be like a tick event where you just trace its location and tell the camera to move its location, world location, to that location. Yes. I don't know. That'd be the way, probably. I don't know. Peyton, do you know if a UE4 or 5 can connect to a remote database, or does it require middleware like PHP, ASP? So you can't do it straight away. You do need something in between. You can put it all into C++ and do it that way around. You can connect to a remote server and database and log in through that way. But I think there'll be. I'm sure there's plugins on the marketplace that will let you do it as well via Blueprint if you want to do it by Blueprint. Typically, it will need some sort of PHP, but that will be done usually on the server side. So you do. I haven't done it with UE4, but I've done it with other game engines. So what I did with the other game engines was I called a PHP script as a middle thing, which then got done the SQL query, which then fetched that data and then sent it back to the game engine, and the game engine then reinterpreted that information. I would assume that's how you do it in Unreal as well. I haven't done it yet in Unreal, but my assumption would be it'd be the same sort of deal. But you need to be able to connect to the camera, the database and the server, obviously, to call that PHP and send up its stuff. It was, yeah, it sends back a JSON. Yeah. Not the not the SQL. The PHP will send back a JSON file. But there you go. Anyway, we'll have to call it a night there, unfortunately. It's been a good stream today, everyone. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a lot of questions answered. And hope you all discovered something a little bit new. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting me over on Patreon and YouTube members. I can't thank you guys enough. It is amazing. There's a new goal coming out on the Patreon over the next couple of days. So look out for that. Announcing some cool stuff there. There's a giveaway for this month. You can win a copy of Psychonauts 2, my personal game of the year. You can win a copy of that on Steam. All you have to do is go to the post and leave your own personal game of the year, and I'll pick one at random. As long as you're a subscribed member, I can pick one at random, and I'll send you a message directly and get that game to you. So before I do go, I'm going to start prepping you guys and giving you a heads up that next month, the Christmas finale is going to be taking place where we do a Christmas giveaway. And last year, if you remember, we did a Christmas live radio talk show quiz thing where I gave away cash prizes to people live on the stream. We'll be doing that again this year with increased number of prizes and increased amounts. And so come by and check that out. The exact date and information will follow come December. So look forward to that. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night. Get plenty of sleep and enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.